Okay, so everybody, one of the things that I love to do is share all the folks in my world that have had such a massive impact on what I do. Super honored to be here with my man, Coach Randy GARN. How are you, Randy?
Good to meet you.
Let me tell you something. Take a pen, sit down, and you may want to play this back and enjoy this journey because what I'm going to share and be a part of is something that I've been a part of with Randy for about 6 months now. And each week it gets better than the week before it, and the acceleration is unbelievable. I have with me Alexa Criollo, Johnny Spring, Eddie Gartner, all part of the Epic family, drivers in different ways. And I can't stress enough that when you want to be able to turn decades into days, when you want to be able to scale, when you want to be able to learn what you don't know, you have to surround yourself with people that have been there, done that, and you have to be able to take notes and be a good listener to be able to implement what you want to do next. And sometimes you have to take advice and listen to things that you may not be ready to hear. We had one of those experiences today. But Randy, listen, I mean, wow. It started in Idaho. Your dad was an unbelievable football coach. Your graduation class had 101 and a half kids. Mm-hmm. What were those early years like growing up in a family with a legendary coach, and how did it have an impact on you?
I mean, I can't even imagine growing up any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have rough times growing up. I know a lot of people grow up in tough homes. I think like 50% of the homes now or more don't have a father in the homes. But for me, I was just so blessed that I had an amazing mom and an amazing dad. And my dad was very, very engaged in my life and involved in my life. And, he's a high school football coach. So we literally every night we would sit down, we'd say prayers. After we say amen, you know what we'd do? We'd put it in the middle and we'd be, go Garns! That's what we do every night. So my dad was he was a tough, he was loving, he was kind, he really learned how to hold us accountable.
How many siblings did you have?
There's 6 kids.
All football?
My sisters were tough too.
They
were barrel racers and played basketball and volleyball.
Basketball,
they were tough. Diane and Julie, they're about as good as they get.
And did the 4 boys play football?
And the 4 boys, yeah.
And you were the best of the 4, right?
I was actually, they called me the little ball of hate. That was my nickname.
The little ball of hate. Little ball of hate. Don't. You just got to participate. Dude. Don't hate, right?
I was like the white Barry Sanders back in the day.
I believe that. There's no doubt in my mind.
I was quick.
The quickness.
But I mean, I think Danny had, I think he may still have the rushing record. My brother Marty played college football.
Oh, wow.
They're a lot bigger than me, but I just had the heart.
Yeah.
That's it. I was scrappy.
Yeah. And did you always have that heart, that drive that serves you even to this day? Is it?
I might have. I was, I was always fighting for milk. Yeah. It was like I had to fight my brothers and my sisters, and so I don't know. I mean, I think when God made me, He just put a little drop of extra, energy in the batch or something.
Love it.
But it's just like if somebody else can do it, I always think I can do it. Yeah. So I don't even remember ever living in a state of fear my whole entire life.
Wow, that's like, and I always talk about that. I had the fortune of 2 lives, pre-recovery and then recovery, right. And there was a fear and then there was an abundant mindset. So that's amazing. Yeah. Can I ask a little bit about your dad was a successful coach, right? Mm-hmm. So there was championships all the time, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
So every day that was like part of I'm sure from the day you were born till 18, that must have been, there was always some kind of championship, always some kind of great player, always some kind of great game going on. Was that like just part of the religion of your family, of the house?
I mean, it was, my dad would always say like Vince Lombardi,
Yep.
Winning's not everything, but the will to win is everything. Winning is not everything, but the will to win is everything.
Love it.
And I mean, as a family, like Monday nights were sacred to us. He called them family night.
Yep.
So it was family night every Monday night, and Sundays were sacred for us. But Monday nights, we would literally order pizza, watch football, and have ice cream. Yep. That was it. It was amazing, and whoever was playing, it was a ton of fun. But I remember my biggest, fondest memories were just driving out to the ranch with my dad, and him talking about life, talking about God, talking about family, asking me how I really was. Like a lot of people be like, "Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? Hey, how you doing?" And it's just like, well, I'm doing horrible actually, But do we really stop and take time? I remember my dad, when I was getting ready to go to college, I remember walking down these shag stairs And I remember like I got my backpack, I'm heading off to go to college, and he grabbed my face. And he literally grabbed my face and he just said, dude, I love you, man. And he says, I may be your father here on earth, but you have a heavenly father that loves you even more than I do, and it's hard to imagine. You know, I mean, just those kind of things like instilled in me. And just like, you know, I know there's two things. There is a God and I'm not him. You know, that's some of the things that like we literally grew up on. So I think having a really strong faith in something greater, something bigger, has also just brought a lot of joy in my life. Yeah. It's not about me. It's about how many people can you help. So when he grabbed my face, he said two things. He said, Randy, remember these two things. People are more important than things. And then I think if you learn this principle that do as much as you can for as many people as you can and as often as you can, and expect nothing in return.
Love that.
Watch what will happen in your life.
Yeah.
So I've really just tried to live a service-oriented life, to give and to give and to give. And a lot of people give to take, but I try to give to give. I'm living it.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. And thank you for sharing it. There was a lot of beautiful nuggets. Hope you're taking notes down. Yeah. Question. So now, you know, Randy leaves high school. He goes to college. Years later, you are who you are. What happened during your college years? I know you met your wife. We talked about that on Sunday. Yeah. But what happens during college that leads you into a professional career? Because you started hitting the ground running pretty quick and had some early success that a lot of people just don't achieve. Yeah. And if you could touch into the mindset of that for the entrepreneur and all the other stuff, I think that would be meaningful. Now I'm being selfish. It's for me too. Just so you.
Well, it's so everybody knows. You're bringing up so many like just amazing memories. You know, when I graduated from high school, I was so ready to get out of the small little town I lived in. I was like, dude, there's so much more. But I actually enlisted to go on a service mission, and I went to the Philippines for 2 years.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Was this after college or during college?
No, right before college.
Okay.
So I went for 2 years. I gave 2 years. I lived in a bamboo hut. I lived up in the northern jungle of the Philippines. And I saw poverty. I saw death. I saw happiness. I saw joy. I saw... You know, I fell in love with people. I didn't even know that I was part of the culture. I speak fluent Tagalog, I speak fluent Ilocano, you know, and so I remember just literally loving them so much. I was like, they're so happy and they don't have a lot. I'm like, dude, I really, that for me was that 2 years was such an awakening for who I was going to be the rest of my life. Wow. That I don't see anybody better or greater than me. I don't see like, if I'm with like a king or a president, I don't see them any better than Alexa or anybody else that I meet. We are all powerful in our own way. That's right. Some of my favorite people have nothing and they were just so well, like they just had so much joy. And so for me, it's just like I try to treat everyone the same regardless because we're just on a different place in our journey. Yep. So that was for me, coming back after that 2 years, I was so well like equipped to handle whatever. Yeah, it became easier just going to college. Yeah. And in college, you made some, you know, progress when it came to like whatever you were doing, but you were running things, right? You had organizations behind you, and can you talk a little bit about that? Yeah, when I got back from my mission serving, I had a really strong prompting to run for student body president of the college. And I was like, dude, I don't want to do this. Didn't you have a slogan? It was Little Man with a Big Plan. Yeah. Little Man with a Big Plan. That was the slogan. It went from Little Ball of Hate to Little Man with a Big Plan. There you go. That was it. That's why I got Don't Be Hating, Be Participating. That's right. That's right. But my slogan was Little Man with a Big Plan. And, you know, I ran against 8 amazing guys. And, you know, but before I ran, that when I got back, I didn't have any money. Yep. Like my dad was a high school football coach. Yep. My mom taught English, debate, and ran the drill team and cheerleaders. So it was Friday Night Lights of me growing up, but there wasn't a lot of financial, like we were wealthy, we were rich. Yep. But you know, we weren't buying fancy cars and a huge house and we had a beautiful ranch. I didn't know we didn't have a lot of money. Like I really didn't. I was like, dude, life was good. Yep. You know? But I think for me, I needed to find money. So I started when I went to college. I was like, man, I got to have some cash. I got to take girls out. I got to buy a car. Like I got to do stuff. So I started a little business where I took the girls' trash out and I called it Buck Buck.
Wow.
And so I was making $4 to $6 grand, $4 to $6 grand a month,
No
just taking out the
way.
garbage of the girls' dorms.
Whoa, hold on. 4 to
Yeah.
6 grand a month taking
Yeah.
garbage? Who paid that? Tell me about the pay
The
cycle.
girl, it was cold in Idaho.
Yep.
So I would have, every apartment had about 4 girls in it. It
Yep.
was actually 4 to a room. And so if you do the math, you're a finance guy.
Yeah. Well,
So there was 4 girls to a room.
Yep.
And I remember it was a freezing cold day.
Yep.
And one of the ladies said, my gosh, dude, I will pay you if you will just come twice a week and take this garbage out.
Wow.
And she's like, and all I had to do is take it all the way down, go all the way across the parking lot to the dumpster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll come do it. I mean, then I was like, hey, Janet, hey, Stephanie, how about you
Innovation,
guys?
folks.
And all them. So,
Yep.
so then
Resourcefulness.
resourcefulness.
Yes,
so
I
said,
love it.
It's $1 a piece. So you guys just pay me $4 twice a week. That's $8.
Oh, boy.
And then I'm like, dude, I did the math in my head. I was like, my gosh, there's 600 rooms in here. What's 600 times 4?
2,400.
2,400. What's 2,400 times 2?
48.
Times 4.
Let's call it 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean so I was making $4,800.
Wow.
I mean, and we literally would just grab my dad's truck, throw the trash
Who's
in.
we?
Me and Slick and Potato Head.
So you had other people working there with you?
Yeah, I had a couple of people with me. Yeah.
You started to replace yourself.
I had
At what
to.
point were you driving the car and not getting out anymore?
Yeah, Justin was driving the car, we were trucking the trash. We were doing
I make a point. You have an elite source too with the,
Yes.
the girls, right?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
So we
amazing.
did that, and I knew everybody on campus. I was the buck guy. So when I
the
ran
little
for
man with
student
the big
advi-
plan.
Little man with the big plan.
Yeah.
So we were doing marketing. I got to know everybody. I got to go on some really awesome dates, and it was good.
Wow.
That's how I like. If you learn how to be self-sufficient, you'll never go hungry. I learned how to fish.
Yes.
I
Yes.
learned how to fish, and I was like, dude, I'm resourceful. I'm
Yeah.
gonna figure this out.
Yeah, amazing.
So-
4 years you did that for?
I did it for 2 years.
Okay. Was there
Right.
anything else after, or were you just kind
Well,
of
then I was student body president, and then I went out and I did, we started a company
While
when
you
I
were
was
in
a junior
college?
in college.
Okay.
And that was the company that we built and ran for 13 years. So
the
and I
eventually one that had 900 employees, right?
Yeah.
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 And I actually ran it with one of the guys that ran against me for student body president.
Because you make
who's
enemies
still-
allies.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
like,
you do.
hey, you wanted to do this too. Let's come join me. So
Randy
all those guys that we worked together with became dear friends and are still dear friends to this day. And it was an amazing time in life. And if I wouldn't have stretched myself, I wouldn't have met those certain people. You never know who a domino in your life is going to be.
That's right. It only takes one.
It only takes one.
Yep.
It only takes one.
Yep.
And so you got to pay attention to those people that are dominoes in your life.
Yep.
That are
Because
gonna
you don't
make-
know who they are either.
You don't know who they
That's
are.
the thing.
Yeah.
Can't pick and choose. I'm going to keep going with this, but do you guys have any urged questions that you
What
want
do
to
you got,
ask
Eddie
that I'm
John?
missing?
Talk to me.
No, I would just say, with your brothers, what number were you?
I'm second to the last in my family.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Because you have that scrappiness about you.
Yeah.
Just because you had older brothers.
Yeah.
And sisters.
My sisters were tougher than
Sisters
my
are
brothers.
tougher. I had 5 sisters. 5
That's
older
true.
sisters,
I'll tell you
so-
what, old Diane and Julie, they're fighters. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I went through,
And you had 8
so
siblings? How many, John?
I had 8. I was
Yeah.
telling Alexa the story before we came in here. My parents had 7 of us. I was
Yeah.
number 7, and then 10 years later had my younger
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
So that was a big surprise. But you learn to fight. You learn to fight to get where you have to
Yeah.
go. But also doing the mission before college had to give you some perspective going into
Unbelievable.
college.
Yeah.
That just your maturity level had
Yeah.
to be heads and shoulders above
Yeah.
everybody else
Yeah.
to do what you did. So that's where you see the success. I mean,
Success leaves clues.
I'm just thinking about that too. What were your thoughts going to serve mission before going to college? Was there fear around, like, does this stop my growth, or what are the thoughts going into that? Because that's something that, from where I come from, that's not, you either go to work or you go to college.
Yeah. So a couple of things, I really felt compelled to go.
Yeah.
I really felt like, and then I got on my hands and my knees and I asked God, I was like, God, what do you want from me? What can I do? What can I do for you? Like, you've given me so much. I just had so much gratitude that I literally got to a point where it wasn't about me. It was like, I want to go and I want to rescue people. I want to go and I want to serve. We built, we did service projects. We built churches. Like, we did Operation Smile. So I'd find people that had cleft palates and, needs. And so again, it was a level of humanity. So to be honest with you, I don't know what it is about it. It's just like when I know and I feel that still small voice, that little quietness, I follow.
Yeah,
And
I relate.
so because of that, I mean, that changed everything, just that decision. I mean, even still today, like people that I even met the other day, I think that made me so strong, but it also made me so faithful, but it also gave me perspective, that I think it set my life up for the rest of my life. And I mean, I'm 18, 19, 20 years old, and I am literally making a fire, and I am out talking to people. I literally got just dropped off like in a helicopter in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
and not knowing the language, no Americans around me. Like I didn't have one American companion.
Oh, you
So-
you didn't have a buddy with you?
Wow.
No,
Wow.
I didn't have. I mean, there were other people that spoke English, but not. I was like
Yeah.
hours away from the mission home.
Wow.
So I had to learn the language real quick.
Yeah.
And for me, it was exciting. It was literally an adventure. I was like, I couldn't have scripted it any better. So that was just amazing, and it made me feel like I can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
can imagine that.
That is amazing.
Alexa, you have any questions?
I mean, thank you for sharing that. I just think
Yeah.
your story is incredible. And
Yeah.
you said something. You said when you have to stretch yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So is that a feeling that you get when you initially may not want to do it, but you said you feel called to do it?
I will tell you, my greatest joys come from stretching myself. And I always a really, really good mentor of mine said that he would pray for mountains to climb. Give me hard things, give me struggles,
Adversity.
make me better, you know. And so I think about that myself, which I'm going through stuff now. It's like going through another level in the video game, right?
Yeah.
Like you just keep getting better. And so I'm at a level now, I'm doing contracts now, I'm doing deals now, I'm doing business now that is so big that I wouldn't have been prepared for. But I bet you keep progressing. And that's where the joy comes from. If you're continually progressing, that's where that happiness comes from, that stretching comes from. And so I love doing things that I've never done before. I'm like, dude, let's go. Give me this mountain.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And Randy, unbelievable bullets there. I think you should be taking notes, folks, when we hear about, there's progress and stretching. There's, when you get dropped in the middle of where you got dropped, it was an adventure. It wasn't like what I don't have. It's like, what can I do to serve? That's what I'm hearing right now. Understanding the mission itself is you stepped into being compelled. I went to Ukraine because I felt like I was compelled. Like that was it. Like I totally related to that, and thank you for sharing. And I look at the business side, right? Because business is a spiritual game. We learned that from Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
We also know the art of living is giving, right? We also know that if you want to live in a beautiful state, it's about growth and contribution. It's not about taking. It's about continuously giving. That's what I
100%.
see with you all the time. You get into this business that you started in college, and you have massive success to the point where you're going to go public, and you do go public, and we don't know what we don't know, and rules change, and there's some hidden agendas that you learn along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share about that? And then now you're working, and other people are making money until you figure out how to get out of that, to eventually where you sell a company that has 900 employees.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that.
Well, I think, and the thing is, like, the one thing that I learned doing that, like we did end up going public on the pink sheets, and I'm young, and we're thinking about that, and all of a sudden all of the stuff that they said they were going to do wasn't happening. And so I think from that experience, I never ever want to give the steering wheel in my life to somebody else, ever. I never ever am going to do that again. And I always say, like, if you don't have your own goals, someone else will use you for theirs. So you better know where you're going, because if not, like, if you don't have your own goals, someone else will use you for theirs. So you just need to make sure that you have a very, very clear vision on what God wants you to do, what you want to do. And business is a spiritual game. Like, make some great money so that you can give it away, so you can make an impact, so you can be better.
There it is.
That's the joy that comes.
Yeah, give it away.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that you had an internal team of folks that were your people, but it was the external that came in that changed the rules. Is that kind of what happened? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So then you worked your way through that, and eventually it was sold in 2000 and I forget what year,
Yeah,
but there was
like
900
yeah.
employees. So now you
Yeah.
sell your company, 900 employees. I'm sure everyone involved is generational wealth. What happens next?
Well, from that time, you know, it was like I really wanted to figure out investing and the B2B side.
Got it.
So you transition from being a president and an operator, you know, running a company to all of a sudden like I'm going to be an investor now. So if that makes sense, like it's like you're creating wealth, and now that you turn to an investor, and now you have to be super wise about like what you're going to do now and how you like create that generational wealth.
Deploy that capital. Yeah.
Yes.
And you've built a team around you that allows you to discover if you like something, if you don't like something.
Yeah.
You have powerful partnerships now.
And that's the thing is like anytime like as a company like we look to investing in somebody, we're investing in people.
Yeah.
Like it's who then what. And so for me, I only invest in things that I understand. I only invest in people that I trust. Like that's such an important thing. And so you learn a lot of lessons around the way, you know. And we've talked about this, like the P over the E squared,
Love
right?
Love it.
You got to have your like every time that I've ever done something where it was like, okay, this financial gain could be good, but man, I just don't really understand it fully, or I'm getting these spidey senses about this person, but dude, I think we can make a ton of money. And all of a sudden, 3 years down the road, you're just like miserable and like, what in the world have I done? And even though I'll give all the money back, I just like, you know, it's like you want to live in a state, you want to live in a beautiful state, and you can only do that if you're fully aligned with like your wealth creation. You know, I wrote a book called Prosper.
Yeah.
And it's like the balance between money, happiness, and sustainability.
Yeah.
So you got to have those three legs of the stool. Is the money you're creating, you know, is it aligned with like what makes you happy and your joy? Two, are you happy doing it? And because if you're not happy doing it, then you can't do it for long periods of time. And the third one is it sustainable? Is it good for the people that are buying it? Is it good for the world? Is it good for you?
Love that.
So you got to be able to make an impact. If you can do that and then really figure out like what is the measure of your creation that God created you to be and do, then I think that there's a fun way to live life.
You know, dude, like I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you've been at my house. You've seen my family. You've seen the crew.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that because I did have the good fortune of being there and how beautiful it was, and seeing your daughter speak at church it was the first time she spoke, and I never would have thought that. But what's interesting to me is you spoke to me Sunday about the importance of balance.
Yeah.
And that you hate even if you could control it not being away for more than 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Right? Can you talk about, like, because you're at that highest level of entrepreneur, for the folks that are coming up and achieving some success, and we know about what the pitfalls are, but how do you maintain that balance? What are the questions that you ask yourself that put you in the right state as you're going through your day to day?
Well, I mean, I don't really ever think if you're a high performer, I don't think it's so much about balance. It's more about balancing your mind.
Love that. Yep. So
But
it's
I
not
don't-
balancing, but it's the mindset
Yeah,
side.
I don't even think because I don't have balance in my life.
Yeah.
Like
I don't.
I don't think anybody does. It's just like, how do you do this? All of a sudden you have this extra stuff that comes. You have church responsibilities. You have family. You have these things that come. So I think it's actually, for me, it's actually more living in harmony than it is in balance.
Got it.
It's like, what I doing? Do I feel good about it? Is it like making progress? Like being in balance, like a lot of people say, like that work-life balance is like, I go to work from 8 to 9 and then I shut things off and then I do this. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always creating. I'm a creator, so it's like being in harmony.
That's what I do.
That's it. Like even when I'm on vacation, I'm like, I am checking my emails, I'm doing stuff, but I'm shutting it down and I'm being with my family and we're doing fun stuff. Like tomorrow night, you know this, like we have a big dinner that we could go to, but it's my son's birthday.
Yep.
I got twin boys that are 10 and they're never gonna be 10 again.
That's right.
They're turning 11 in a couple of days. And so I could go to this awesome dinner with tons of very successful people, but dude, I'm going to have what I call the home court advantage. Like if everything's not right at home, nothing's right in my life.
Yeah.
My family is my very, very, the best person in my life is my beautiful bride and my wife and she is first and foremost before any business meeting.
Yeah, awesome.
And that kind of guides my harmony. Like if I'm good at home, things aren't good. If it's a bad day, then if Shar and I are in a good space, then dude, I can't have a successful work,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like if the one that I love the most, and I would say like, if those that know you the best should love you the most. That's
that.
success.
That's good. That's real good. The bullets are coming out. The bombs. You're dropping bombs.
Don't forget about it.
Word to your moms, you're dropping bombs.
That's right, dude.
So I'll go round table one more time to see if anyone has any questions, and I'll wrap it up. And I'm so grateful for your time right now.
Yeah.
Did you want to have a follow up, Ed?
Well, I think there's so many good things that just came out of that. And, the idea of work-life balance. And one of the things I remember Jim Rohn saying, I'll just paraphrase because I can't say it as good as he did. He talks about being on vacation and you're thinking about work, or being at work and you're thinking about being on vacation. And it seems like you've been able to kind of take your work time when you're doing your work time, and then you're with family and locking that down. And so I guess my question though is, in all the things that you've been doing, what do you see as like the next thing for you? Because you've created such success, not just for yourself, but for all the other people that you're touching in your life. Like, what is the next thing that you see?
I mean, for me, I think the next thing that I see and the next thing I'm doing is like, we're doing some really, really good stuff worldwide. Like I'm working with a great company now. We're really focused on healthcare. We're really focused on global impact. We're really focused on, we're working on a huge project right now where we want to feed, 100 billion meals and doing some really amazing things. So I don't want to play small ball anymore.
Yep.
Like I'm not. Like it's like, every second counts.
Yep.
My life is going to be important. I'm going to wear myself out in the service of others, in the service of God. And so for me, it's like, who are the people that I can work with? Because I like, a lot of people say, dude, you're Coach GARN, you're the kingmaker or whatever. I like working with CEOs and companies that are impacting millions of people. That's what's next for me.
Powerful. Great question. Great.
Yeah.
Love that. Johnny, anything?
Thanks for sharing everything, because I really wish I was taking notes
You
right
get-
now, but
you
I
get
know
the
I have
video.
a copy, and I will
Yeah.
be taking notes from that. There's just so many bombs that you're dropping on us. But when you talk about spidey senses and investing with people, what do you look for? How do you get a feel about the people you're working with? Like, what are your traits that you're looking for with partners?
Little things. I watch how they treat the receptionist. I watch how they treat the waitress. I watch how they deal with people on the phone. I watch how they treat their employees. When they walk in the office, do they say hi to anybody, or does anybody even greet them? So I think for me, it's like trust and love are two. They have to exist between both parties for it to exist. Yeah. And so for me, it's like watching those things. But I actually, it's crazy. I probably know within 30 to 45 seconds. I really do. I know.
I get it.
I know. And then, but you just got to trust and verify. But I do feel like I meet certain people for a reason. And because I try to every day, I journal every night. I'm very, very just particular with my calendar. I ask God, like, who are 5 people that I need to reach out to today? Like, who do I need to make an impact today? I do feel like I'm led in certain areas. I can't make it out. I know Rob for a reason. Like, I met some other people. So I just feel like I'm on a little bit of a path. As long as I stay in tune with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Then he is going to protect me. I am going to be protected from certain things. I'm also very, very conscious of who I spend my time with as well. Yeah. So I've got in my phone, I've got my 25 favorites. Those are the people I'm doing life with.
Can I see your phone? Can I check out your phone?
Yeah, you can. And you're going to get in this someday.
I'm not there yet. We're going to get there.
That's right.
There's a goal.
So, but I really is like, who matters most to you, and then do an accounting. Am I spending time with them?
Yeah.
I mean that's for me. It's like I do get those spidey senses. Yeah. I look at people's track records. you know. It's pattern recognition is big for me.
Oh yeah.
So I think are they who they say they are. It's important. So I like taking people out fishing or doing something different, and so to really get to know them in a really, really good way, and that way it's like, who are you going to do life with? So it's important to me.
And that was the other thing I was going to ask you. When you talk about giving without wanting to receive, every day, and how you find out who you're going to give to. And you just said you talk to God, and it just happens in your life, right? Like people present themselves, and you say, that's my answer to that.
Yeah.
We're gonna start praying to God more.
Yeah.
With
You should.
no, for you.
He says you should.
No, I'm happy. I'm so glad you bring.
We're gonna talk about we're gonna learn the art of giving.
God and their faith.
Oh, I'm not.
I love it because I'm right on the same page with you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, John, you took my question.
Okay.
But it's okay, because I was wondering how your vetting process, I guess, when you are choosing new business partners or people that you choose to spend your time with, since it's very valuable. My question, I guess, is more towards family, right? Family for me is the most important thing. It's why I'm here and why I am who I am. And my question is, as you have continued to grow in business, you change. You're a different person today than you were in college and in high school.
Right.
But maybe you still have a lot of those friendships, or you can still relate and still, keep your family very connected to what you're doing now. How do you do that?
I take my kids on trips with me. My daughter Grace I took her to Puerto Rico to a mastermind with Brendan Burchard and Dean and Ethan, and they actually had her speak on stage, and she said, I'm going to write a book. And now she's writing a book. That was 2 years ago. And she served a mission and just got back, got married. But she's now writing a book on how parents should talk to their kids about anxiety, depression, and suicide. And she's doing clinical psychology, and she wants to get her PhD. But I think for with my family, is like I try to do as much as I can with them. I include them in stuff. We talk about things, we discuss things. But I do try to shut down Saturdays and Sundays, and it's just all family stuff. Like that's really, really for me important. And then just being present. So really trying to shut your phone down, like being present, like looking them in the eyes and like paying attention. We don't do that enough now. So for me, it's like the biggest success for me is like when I get older, like now, I love it that my kids love to hang out with me still. That's important. Like when I'm on my deathbed or whatever it may be, or if I somehow like leave this earth tomorrow, that my kids loved me and respected me, and I was a good father. That's first and foremost. God, my wife, my kids, my business partners.
Yep.
Everything else will work out.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you for the nuggets. And the other day I had said to you, we talked about proximity being power.
Yeah.
And what Randy said, which, by the way, distinction, sensory acuity definitions that go deeper, vertical goes lower. He goes, proximity is power, only if you bring more value, right?
Only if you bring
that
value.
was tremendous.
Yeah.
And that was the piece that I had been missing when I say, because, nervous system engagement, I believe in that wholeheartedly. And I believe in transformational vocabulary that has energy tied to it. Yep. And that was unbelievable. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. You can't just snorkel with people. You got to scuba dive.
Oh, I knew who was going to go somewhere. Yeah. I'm a snorkeler though. I haven't scuba dived yet. Like scuba dive.
You got to do it. I mean, you got to go deeper with people. You got to get to really know them.
Yeah.
And that's like, even if you're around some people, it's like, it's not about who you know. It's who knows you and what they say about you when you're not around. Right. And so like, even though you could have proximity, but you got to have power.
Yep. And you can be sticky because people be like, he's around, he's asking too many questions, or, oh my God, that's the greatest, she's the best, or he's the best. And that's awesome. And listen, I mean, the questions you guys asked in conclusion were tremendous. So I don't want to repeat questions. One of the things I will say is this, and I think you touched on it, that when you shuffle off this mortal coil, right? Yeah. Pass away. Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story behind the scenes, but when you do shuffle off at some point, you said how you want your kids to know you and what that feels like. That being said, if we were to go 10 years in the future and everything is the way it's going, plus you're learning and multiplying, what does it look like? I know you play big, you're not playing small ball no more. Yeah. Almost like small ball, almost like the Jack Bauer of the private equity space, right? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 or 15 years globally and the impact you're going to have?
Continuing to build business and continually to make an impact. I don't want to be sitting on a beach somewhere sipping it. I want to 10 years, 15 years, maybe I'm gonna be doing even more.
Yeah, so it's not
I'm
stopping.
never gonna stop.
There's no such thing as retirement.
I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah, I love that. That's
No,
why you're
I'm
going to live
never
to be
gonna stop.
150. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
Randy.
Thank you,
Totally
Coach.
appreciate it. Thank you, Coach. Is there any message that I missed that maybe you want to share with people that are going to watch this that could be impactful for them today?
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Rob Gill. I mean, this guy right here, he is a champ. He's the champion. His heart is so big. I mean, his smile's so wide he could eat a banana sideways. That's the man right there. But when you meet really, really amazing people, you know, cherish good friends, cherish great people, cherish deep relationships. People are always more important than things. Our greatest joys and our greatest sorrows will come within the walls of our own homes and in the walls of our own business partnerships. So treat people with love and respect and work super hard. And I wish everybody to really be a striver. Mountains to climb. You got them and you got this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach. That was unbelievable. And if anyone wants to sit down and set up a private call with anybody here on the Epic team, go ahead, click the link below. We'd love to hear what you have. If there's any comments, share comments. And if you want us to do other videos, great. And if there's any specific questions for Randy, I will get it to him. Please ask it. And thank you for checking in at all times. And Coach,
Coach.
what an unbelievable journey you just took me on. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Coach Gill.
Totally appreciate it. Yep.